Creature taming games. There is no feeling quite like taming a team of big baddies or cute little buggers to train, battle, and bond alongside. There are quite a few games out there that cover this genre of game. Pokemon, the most well-known, Digimon, Temtem, Rune Factory, Monster Hunter Stories, and some Dragon Quest games like Dragon Quest Joker 1, 2, and Dragon Quest 8 are just there to name a few. These games allow us to hunt, tame, and battle alongside all sorts of creatures from mythology to original creations. Dragons, beasts, demons, and even angels. One particular theme isn't something you would necessarily expect, and that is dinosaurs. Surprisingly, there aren't too many dinosaur-themed taming games out there. I won't be looking at Jurassic World Alive as I'm focusing more on the DS titles from my beloved childhood. There were two very well-known games along with one not so well-known, and I'm referring to Fossil League Dino Tournament Challenge. Wow, that is a mouthful. For the Nintendo DS, the Fossil Fighter series, Fossil Fighters Champions, and the not well so received Fossil Fighters Frontier for the Nintendo DS and 3DS respectively. And last but not least, Dinosaur King for the Nintendo DS, which had a TV series alongside it. Starting off with the first game, Fossil League Dino Tournament Challenge. Fossil League is the story about a Fossil League is the story about a young boy named Taiga, or Taiga, who was given a fossil Jeremia, known as Big Mother in-game, and a dinosaur encyclopedia by his father before his death. He was soon adopted by his father's colleague, Dr. Smith, and his assistant Yukari, and he was tasked to do research dinosaurs using a time machine. Along the way, Taiga encountered an evil group of Syndicate X, a dinosaur Team Rocket, if you will, who was planning to reset mankind by stealing Taiga's fossil so that they can find and kill the Jeremia. During his quest, Taiga is accompanied by the Staurikosaurus, or Staurikosaurus? It was a carnivore, named Stack, who is saved at the start of the game from a trap set by Syndicate X. Moving on to the gameplay portion of the video, it is almost similar to Pokemon. Each dinosaur in a prehistoric fauna has 5 elements. That will be fire, water, earth, wind, and neutral. Neutral dinosaurs are able to learn almost all elemental moves. Each element has their own advantages and disadvantages over the other elements, just like Pokemon. Players are able to tame dinosaurs using meat, grass, and fish based on their diet. However, there are also wild and untamable dinosaurs that only appear as enemies. In every end period, there is a boss dinosaur that must be defeated. They can be tamed once the period has been cleared. This was not a game that held up well, especially in the way of graphics or even story. The dinosaurs are made very strange sounds and very strange and clunky in-game models. This game, however, had quite an array of species to choose from: Allosaurus, Carnotaurus, Iguanodon, Therizinosaurus, and even Dinosuchus, just to name some of the species. 105 in total to pick from. I had fond memories of this game back when I was in middle school, and I just aged myself. A time rather not dwell on, as it makes me feel so old. It was through this game that I discovered Fossil Fighter series. This particular series took Dinosaurs to a whole new level. Created by Red Entertainment, this game gave us access to 100 base dinosaurs, or vivosaurs as the game takes to calling them, Cenozoic species, or marine reptiles, as well as 14 unlockable species in the form of a race of alien dinosaurs, 3 in total, a dinosaur robot named the Dynamaton, which took the form of a Therizinosaurus, and 4 chickens based on the 4 main elements, and our 3 main bosses, which take the form of possessed body organs, the brains. They truly look like Heartless from the Kingdom Hearts series more than anything. Honestly, reading that in the script makes me even wonder what the storyboard was thinking about when they made this game. Fossil Fighters received average to somewhat favorable reviews. IGN rated it a 5.9 out of 10, labeling it mediocre. Then again, IGN isn't known for their opinions, so most tend to ignore them, as will we. While Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu rated it a 32 out of 40. Nintendo's Nintendo Power magazine gave it an 8 out of 10, stating that the game has few flaws but few challenges. Reviewers praised the game for its compelling cleaning feature and fun, lightly strategic battle system, but criticized it for its simple graphics and soundtrack. Personally, just speaking off script, that is something that I actually really liked. I thought the little chibi dinosaurs were cute, and I also thought that the designs were very well done, and the music was a little lacking, but it still gave it its charm. Many compared it to a Pokemon game, though they noted the Fossil Fighters lacked some of that series' positive features, specifically citing the game's limited multiplayer capabilities. I, again, going off script, personally don't care for multiplayer capabilities because I don't like to battle people because I suck at the game. I just like to play it because the animals look cool. This is, in all honesty, was and will always be my favorite series, excluding the third entry in the series for reasons I will get into later, for the sheer designs that they gave the Vivosaurs, Cenozoic Beast, and the marine reptiles. Each Vivosaur had a unique design that portrayed them perfectly. The Carcharodontosaurus had hieroglyphics and an Egyptian aesthetic, while the Kronosaurus had Roman numerals on its body to match the name meaning time lizard. It was things like this that made me very much want to catch them all. Pokemon, please don't sue me. So that I could see what all the Vivosaurs looked like in their glory, and see what they also offered in combat. Small dinosaurs such as the Gallimimus were also things that could actually prove to be quite OP, and you wouldn't think that. The game also introduced us to the BB Bandits, a literal ripoff of Team Rocket from Pokemon. The main 3 villains you face even having an animal sidekick, a bulldog named Rex, whose signature Vivosaur was a Nodosaur, Snivels, whose signature Vivosaur was a Carcharodontosaurus, and Vivian, whose team varies and does not seem to have a signature Vivosaur. Hardly a serious moment when these 3 are on screen. I do remember Rex's team wrecking me once or twice, forcing me to rethink my battle strategies, which BB brings. Yes, I actually put that into the script, which BB brings me to my next feature, and that is the mechanic of battles. You were able to have up to 3 Vivosaurs on the field at a time, and you could switch your allies around the field to best suit your Vivosaur's battle style, or put them in the far back of the area in the reserves area so that they could take a little break from the action. All in all, it was a very simple concept to adopt, seeing as how that was centered around children. But I have to say that, going off on my own little tangent, it was seriously a game that I did not know I was going to love as much as I did. I put so many hours into that particular game, and when it was announced, I even bought a game guide for it, if that tells you guys anything. But when it was announced that there was going to be a second game, which was called Fossil Fighters Champions, I quickly took the internet by storm because I needed to know what Enter Fossil Fighters 2, or mainly known as the Fossil Fighters Champions. This was the second game in the trio and arguably the best and last within the series. Also developed by Red Entertainment, this would be the last Fossil Fighters that Red would focus on, with the third title, Fossil Fighters Frontier, having Spike Chunsoft take over the driver's seat and Red Entertainment moving into the backseat. Pun intended. Fossil Fighters Champions would bring our usable Venusaur total to a whopping 174, with a good chunk of them being able to Mega Evolve, per se, by using special fossils. The game would also bring back old favorites and introducing us to brand new species ranging from Synthotocerus, Paracitherium, Titanus, Bone Venusaurs, and Zombie Venusaurs. Yes, you heard me right. Bone and zombie variants of our favorite Venusaurs. This game would then have us take control of our main protagonist, either male or female, and set out for Venusaur Island and becoming a fossil fighting champion. Alongside you is your best friend Todd, whose signature Venusaur is a Stegosaurus, Pauline, an island villager, whose signature Venusaur is an Amargasaurus, and the least polite of the bunch is Rupert, a rich snob whose signature Venusaur was a Mapusaurus, whose personality matches that of his master. Together you side in the ranks of the Calyostio Cup. Our new antagonist introduced to the series is the BB Bandits, being replaced by the Bare Bones Brigade, a new evil team led by the terrifying Don Boneyard, a one-piece looking villain whose head is a skull, hence the name. He gives us our first look at the new types of Venusaurs, the Bonysaurs. They did their best with the naming, I can assure you. Don Boneyard having a B-Terra as his signature partner, also known as the Bone Terra. This here is really where the game flips you, it flips you completely. This is where the game flips the entire story. As you progress, it becomes known as Don Boneyard is really just the skull of the game's true champion, Joe Wild West, the host of the Calyostio, I will never be able to say that correctly, he's the host, so he's pretty much the, this game's Cynthia. While the body of Joe Wild West is being controlled by a sorcerer named Zonga Zonga. Again, they did their best. He then battles you in true form, a giant undead Tyrannosaurus-like creature with skeleton arms on his back, a skull-like face, red demon horns, and a posse of zombie Rexes at his side. And believe it or not, you could obtain all of these usable Venusaurs, zombies, skeletons, and even Zonga Zonga himself. A Venusaur that is a skeleton salad hybrid, and this was a DLC thing that involved you using the new rocket launcher, or the fossil launcher they called it, and you could go to the fossil yard within your main headquarters, and you could launch fossils back and forth to your friends or even across the world from what it originally intended. And using this would give you access to some of these dinosaurs, or Venusaurs, and it was really weird. It's like a chameleon, but skeleton salad looking dinosaur, and it was literally based off salad. Yeah, this game really had it all, and with the DLC you could get access to the other alien Venusaurs from the first game. When you describe this series, it truly sounds like a fever dream of Jurassic Park meets Space Invaders meets The Walking Dead, and it's all in one. It's not hard to believe why this was my favorite game in the series and the entire video, but that unfortunately brings me to the third and final game in this series, Fossil Fighters 3, Fossil Fighters Frontier. This is where everything gets flipped on its head. Now, I bought Fossil Hunters Frontier on my 3DS when it first dropped in March 20th of 2015. I was stoked to see my favorite Venusaurs return, but in higher definition. I was quickly given a hint that not all was well when the pretty much intro video booted up. In the world of Vivosaurs, I was given an intro of a vehicle. Alongside Vivosaurs, had they trashed the original concept of Fossil Fighters, my answer would soon be given. And, you know, when I was told to choose a car or a bone buggy. Seriously, bone buggy? Bone Ranger. Bone Focus. There are two much better names for the vehicles that I just gave you right there. What is with all these B names? I am so sorry about that. I'm not entirely sure what's with the double and triple B wordplay they have going on here. What's the new villain's names? The Big Bad Biggity Bone Brigade? Like, who knows? I actually didn't even make it that far. No, they gave the third game of the series Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts treatment, turning a flawless game series into a racing simulator. This is where I am actually going to go off script for the rest of this entire video. Well, not this video, but at least this particular game topic, because the last series game I want to focus on is going to be much better and bigger than, well, this game. But, however, yes, they introduce you to vehicles called bone buggies, where you then are going to be racing around the map, finding fossils pretty much typically how you would in the original two games, and then reviving them. However, the amount of Vivosaurs that they used in this particular series were cut down to well over half, I want to say. No more were the Cenozoic animals, and I believe they even took out most, if not all, of the marine reptiles, leaving only pterosaurs and dinosaurs. And even then, they had scrapped a lot of the original designs of those Vivosaurs and even made them look even worse than they did in the original game, with a little bit of an HD style, or they made some of them, in my opinion, look a little bit cooler, like the Quetzalcoatlus. I do have to say I think they did a little bit better of a job with him, but that is literally it. And even worse than that, I would say even better, even worse than that, you are only allowed to have one Vivosaur active at a time. They have scrapped the multi-Vivosaur battle style, and you battle alongside two other people at a time, where you can only have control of your Vivosaur. Actually, no, I take that back. You don't even really get control of your Vivosaur. You just sit there and you push a button and you watch it attack, while the other two just kind of do whatever they want. It's literally a triple Pokemon battle, but you having only your Pokemon and then two other people doing that, and half the time the AI didn't even really know what it was doing. It just kind of did its own thing. And that's where I would like to say is the end of it. But no, they introduced a group of villains who they don't even tell you who the villains are. You just have a Dr. Raven something, and I don't even care. I made it, and I quote, 15 minutes into this game. 15 minutes. And then I scrapped it. I uninstalled it off my DS. I did not touch it ever again. I was incredibly disappointed with what I got. When I found out that most of the Vivosaurs that I actually enjoyed using in the previous two series were cut from the game, I was done. I had no interest in playing it. I was not having any fun with it. I barely enjoyed the HD style to it. And even on top of that, I could not even get past the fact that the intro had a horrible song about Fossil Fighters Frontier. I would love to play that, but I have a feeling I would get copyrighted for that. And I'm not going to waste a copyright of all things on Fossil Fighters Frontiers. I don't like. I cannot stress enough that this game got a 57 on Metacritic. 57, and I can't even find ratings for the other one, but it got the lowest rating of all of the Fossil Fighters games. And the fact that when you let Red Entertainment take a back seat on this one, and you get Spike Chunsoft or Chunsoft, whatever the hell it's called, take over, and this is what they do to the game. They give it the nuts and bolts treatment, and that's where the whole game lost its magic. When you take, that's like they're doing the National Dex Pokemon thing, where they're like, oh, by the way, we're cutting most of the Pokemon out. Yeah, we've cut most of the Vivosaurs out, and even on top of that, we're gonna redesign every one of them to look so stupid. The Iguanodon and the Centausaurus and all of those, they took those and turned them into these fat, chubby, which originally they were already fat and chubby, but they had this animation where it looked like they were boxing and stuff, and it was awesome. And then they take them, they give them these weird faces, and these lifeless eyes, and then they just put them in the game and they just stand completely still. It's like a plush in a crane machine. That's all it looks like, and it's horrible. And this is what they thought was a better style and a better mechanic. Like, this whole thing, nobody likes racing games. It's like if you took Pokemon and turned it into a strictly racing game where, oh, you can only catch one single Pokemon. Yes, they had the Pokemon race game, but that's a different thing. It's like you get one Pokemon at a time that you can battle with, but in order to catch said Pokemon, you have to race them in a vehicle. I'm sure oh, I just dropped stuff. I'm sure that, you know, Frontier, wow. I talk a lot about Jurassic World Evolution to the point where I bring Frontier into this. Hey, Frontier, you want to take over? But you take Red Entertainment, they take a backseat while Chunsoft jumps in, and they completely screwed up the entire game. I could go on an hour-long rant just on this video alone, but it's just, what did they do? I don't understand. But I'm not gonna subject you guys to have to sit and listen to me talk anymore about Fossil Fighters Frontier. If you guys want more like detailed video or description on that particular game, I'm sure there's other videos out there. All I know is that they completely butchered the game. For me, and in personal opinion, I'm sure there's people out there who actually like it. I'm sure there are, because I know there's people out there who absolutely despise the first two games. I've seen comments, people going, it wasn't that bad of a game. In fact, I thought it was better when they introduced the vehicles. That's fine. Totally okay with you having that opinion. You're wrong, but no, like, you are allowed to like a game that I don't, but I don't have anything else to say on this game. I don't have much content to even bring up on this game because I only played 15 minutes of it. And yes, I have seen it all the way through on YouTube with Let's Play videos. And everybody, there was a few people I watched playing it who halfway through the game were like, I don't even want to play this anymore, but I'm doing it because I need to keep up the content. Like, people were forcing themselves to play it, and that's horrible. But you know what? I'd say let's get the trash out of here and let's bring in some good things. We got some good content right here with, and I'm completely drawing a blank here on what game it even is. Dinosaur King. Dinosaur King for the DS. That's where we're covering now. So, well, a game that actually, I don't know if it had a TV series first and then a game. I believe it was a TV series first and then the game. Unless it was from Japan, in which it was an arcade game. I'll figure that out. But let's get on to Now we get to our final game of discussion and probably everyone's favorite in the video, Dinosaur King. First being a card-based arcade game in Japan, then turned into a DS game soon after, and then a TV series lasting only 3 seasons or 109 episodes, followed 3 young children named Max, Rex, and Zoe, members of the D team, to which only Max and Rex are available to play as, something I honestly didn't understand why that was. Anyway, one day they find a strange stone that gives the ability to summon dinosaurs, to which cards are made from their fossils and are scanned using a device called the Dino Shot. This is literally Yu-Gi-Oh! Meets Pokemon meets Jurassic Park. So, Max, voiced by Veronica Taylor in the English dub of the anime, who also is the voice of Ash Ketchum from the Pokemon, gets his first dinosaur, a Triceratops with electric abilities. How did I not put the two of those together until now? The Rex, who gets a Carnotaurus with the wind ability, set off to fight the forces of evil in the way of the Alpha Gang, with members such as Dr. Z, the leader of the Alpha Gang. His dinosaur is a Tyrannosaurus Rex named Terry, pretty much the video game's mascot, the big T-Rex with yellow going down his back. Ursula, voiced by Rachel Lillis, who even voiced several Pokemon, and Jessie from Team Rocket in Pokemon series. She is the leader of the Alpha Trio. Xander, voiced by Sean Schimmel, I hope I said his name correctly, also voices Cyrus in the Pokemon series and quite a few other random characters. And Ed, who uses a Psychania named Tank. Note, the game does not have voice acting, but, it would have been awesome if it did. I believe there's some sound effects that get said whenever
characters show up on screen, kind of like a Phoenix Wright kind of a situation. Characters aside, the goal of the game is to go and rescue as many dinosaurs as possible from the Alpha Gang. This game was pretty cut and dry when it came to the designs of the dinosaurs. However, the dinosaurs looked quite good given it was a DS game in the early 2000s. A little bit, little fuzzy, but you know, they still did a pretty good job, all things considered. The most elaborate of the designs were the Alpha Gang dinosaurs themselves. They usually had the same species as the villains would later on. What I'm trying to say is my script goes completely off kilter there. I'm not sure what I was typing. I think a room full of monkeys was typing this up, and me being all of the monkeys. Usually what I'm trying to say is when you first fight them, they would have certain dinosaurs. I do remember a particular one being that Zane, or not Zane, but Zane is an actual character in there. Xander being a character who used trying to think, he had an Acrocanthosaurus, and then later on when you fought him again, like post-game, he had an Alpha Acrocanthosaurus. And the difference between the two was the Alphas were like a darker gray or black color, and they had some purple mixed in with their designs. It was actually really cool. But one thing I wanted to say is that for a game this old, it probably stands out to be one of the best. It didn't have a very big post game, unfortunately. Like, the only big bad dinosaur you really wanted to get at the very end of the game was a very small one called an Eoraptor. All of you know about the Eoraptor, but that was unfortunately like the big rare dinosaur to get. There were a few dinosaurs that were like DLC exclusives, but you couldn't get them in America. You had to like use an action replay or a cheat device in order to get those dinosaurs, and those were, and I'm sure I'm going to get some of these wrong, the Therizinosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, and the Megalosaurus. I believe there may be another one, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It really hit me in the gonads when I found out that Therizinosaurus could not be found. I walked around that game literally for weeks and months because it said online that the Therizinosaurus fossil could be found in Europe, and I went everywhere in Europe and I could not find it. It may not have been Europe, actually. I think it was Asia. It was Asia. For some reason, I kept digging and digging and digging and digging. I took my DS with me everywhere I went just to find the Therizinosaurus. I played the game 4 or 5 times, no joke, in a row, just to keep doing my best, because there were theories online, oh, you can get the Therizinosaurus if you beat the game using only one whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I literally did all of these things just to find out, after I could have better access to the internet and look up better things, that Therizinosaurus was a special download that you had to do, but it was through Asia, and it wasn't even like something we could have done in America. Eventually, I did get the Therizinosaurus through action replay means, as well with the Pachycephalosaurus and the Megalosaurus, but it was very disappointing. I actually still have that copy of that game. I don't have a DS anymore. I've actually debated, just because of making this video, have wanted to go purchase a 3DS and start replaying these games again, even though the online features are completely dead in the water at this point. As of not too long ago, the 3DS store and everything just went offline, but you can still play the games if you have the device. So I'm thinking about ordering one online after we get back from Disney. So that then leads to me discussing these 3 series, pretty much. Then goes into what happened to these series. Why are we not seeing these types of games anymore? We'll see Pokemon till the end of time. We'll see Digimon probably till the end of time as well. But where is, I'm hearing random thumps and thuds, and even my cat just freaked out. That was weird. The ghost in my house has decided to make itself present. A boo. Anyway, what happened to these games? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But let me know what you guys think below on this particular video. I've probably gone all over the place, but if I hit that nostalgia pang for you guys, I've done my job. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have been working on this video for absolutely an abysmal amount of time, probably about a month now, off and on, trying to get it all going. It's such a large video, and editing it has been and will be a nightmare. But Let me know what you guys think below. Do you want to see more Dinosaur Taming Games come out? Do you want to see more Fossil Fighters in the future? Let me know. And until then, there goes my phone again. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. I love every single one of you. This is Brooding Gamer, signing out.